My name is Mark Evershed, and I want to welcome you to the number 4 in our series of the top 25 tips of all time. This one comes from a gentleman named Billy Casper. Highly recommend you Google this guy's career. He probably, most likely, absolutely is the most unheralded golfer in history. This guy was one hell of a player, never got the notoriety or the respect that I think he should have got. However, in his tip, in as few words as possible, he made the most sense I've ever heard in any of these tips what we're going to do. He talked about chipping and pitching, about getting the golf ball on the ground as soon as possible, let it roll out. It's kind of something people don't do a lot of anymore because we have so many different wedges, which they didn't have back when he was discussing this. However, I looked it over and I read it over, and I'm thinking to myself, in the time frame given, what's the best advice I can give you on how to make this better? My deal is you can go anywhere on the internet and get a chipping lesson or a pitching lesson. Most of them, if not all of them, just tell you what to do. Well, I want to change that a little bit. I want to tell you why you're doing it. It's my understanding that if the person knows why, they own it. If they don't know why, they're just trying to memorize something, and it's really hard to break or hard to fix something when it breaks if you don't know why. So let's see if I can give you a little bit of a different twist. Okay, step number 1 in this whole procedure is you must learn where the lowest part of your golf swing is. It's always, let's say, being right-handed, it's always opposite your left shoulder joint. If you understand this, this will let the club go up on the backswing and down, hit the golf ball, then bottom out after the shot. We're going to call them bacon strips. I don't want to call them divots. I want to call them bacon strips. You're touching the ground and a little bit lower after the shot. This is not something that is a manual manipulation of your swing. Your swing is your club, your hands, and your arms. What your job is, number 1, is to put yourself in position which will allow this to happen. I work on getting this organized in my mind. Go have a little checklist in my mind so it's very organized. First thing I need you to do is put yourself in position which will allow the golf club to bottom out after the shot. So the club goes up, touches the golf ball first, then the ground second. Again, it's not a manipulation, it's me putting myself in position that will allow it to happen. If I'm here, the club's going to go low from the ground, then up through the golf ball, where we really want it to go down through the golf ball. It really is, in the process, it's me putting myself in the correct position. Okay, step number 1. Step number 2 in chipping and pitching, what we really do want is for the golf ball to go on the line we want it to go on. Well, that's plain. And in me learning to swing on plane makes the golf ball go straight. If I'm going 10 miles an hour or 100 miles an hour, it's the thing that makes the golf ball go straight. It's called plane, and it really has to do with the shaft of the golf club in your arms. It happens on chipping, pitching, and putting, and hitting your driver. It's not something you say, well, now chipping, I got to go straight. No, you do the same darn thing. It's plain. And there's nothing wrong with knowing this. As a matter of fact, it's wrong to not know it. Just to assume you're going to do it correctly is a bad assumption. It's your job to decide which way you want your arms to go. And plane is from the golf ball forward, it's left and up, according to how far you want the ball to go. Of course, chipping, pitching, and a fuller shot. But they all remain the same. It may be smaller, but it's the same. So that's plane. Now, the real neat thing here is, with chipping and pitching, I want it to be offense, not defense. In order for chipping and pitching to become offense, if you knew that you're going to hit it on the correct line, if you knew that you're going to hit it with the right speed to make it go the distance you want, you could start being aggressive. So here's what we're attempting to do on chip shots and pitch shots and all golf shots. You want to play offense. You want to figure out how fast you're going to go. You never want to be sitting there thinking, how slow should I go? How easy should I hit it? Okay, so here's the things I need you to put in place to learn how to get the golf ball to go the distance you want. First off, I want firm grip pressure. Not light, as you probably been told, firm, because I'm telling the ball what to do. I'm not asking it. I put my hands on the golf club firm so the golf ball knows who's hitting it. What I want to do when I go through the golf shot is I want my left wrist flat, if not a little arched. And I want my right wrist bent, and I want to retain it. I want to keep it. I want to keep it that way. You see this angle, and you can also see from this angle. I'm retaining it. I'm not letting it go one little iota. So if I can keep my hands firm and I can keep my wrist angles correct, then I can hit the ball pretty firm. I can hit it pretty hard without the fear of it going very far. It's when I start doing this that I have no idea how far that's going to go. I can't judge the speed. So for you to get really good at chipping and pitching, for you to get offensive at chipping and pitching, you've got to know what line to hit it on, which is plane, and you have to know the correct speed. What you're trying to do is get the shaft, your left wrist, and your left forearm to go through the golf ball at the same speed without breaking down. Then when you start doing that, you can start hitting the ball firm without it going far. You've always heard about not decelerate as you go through the golf ball. Well, this is what they meant. If I know that I'm not going to flip my wrists, I can go at it, even a small shot. I can go at that pretty firm without that golf ball going a great distance. Okay, so let me wrap this up for you. 3 things to put in place. Get yourself in position first so that the club will go up, hit the ball, then the ground. Understand that from the golf ball forward, you've got to swing your arms on plane. That's what makes the ball go straight out in front of you. And you want to get your grip pressure firm, and you would like your hands not to do much movement as you're going through to get the distance right. Now, with all that said, I'm going to put up on YouTube, we heard an awful lot of talk lately about Steve Stricker, how great he is with his short game and his less than full shots. Well, if you go to that YouTube, I'm going to explain in more detail kind of what I've just said here about how good he is at his distance control and why his particular style of swing is really good for hitting the golf ball less than full distances. It's not bad for hitting at full distances either. But his style of swing is really conducive to hitting good short shots. Hope you enjoyed.